Good afternoon. My name is Chad, and we are going to talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about the challenges leaders face when they're coming across paradoxes, like conflict that they have. We're also going to be talking about the right decision if they know that they're making the right decision, and other ways that they handle decisions, and so forth. So. Starting off, we are going to with the paradoxes. Leaders commonly come across paradoxes such as there's innovating or operating, choosing which one is like better, which one they should focus on. Same with sustainability and growth, or continue can't pronounce this continuing on the path that they're going with their business, continue with the same concept, or if they should change. Not just as the business as a whole for these different areas, but for the just for different like departments or just any aspect of the company. So like if they're innovating or operating, are you changing what you're doing? Like, are you innovating? Are you going with the times? Are you focusing more on innovating your company and innovation with any of your products or your services or anything, or are you focusing on just how your company operates? You can't really go, you kind of want to really focus on both, but one's going to have a little bit more focus than the other. So it's decisions like that they have to make. Also with growth or sustainability, are you focusing, like, are you having a CEO or a business leader that is saying growth, 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 just continually growing your business and getting it out there, and not really focusing on the resources that they use as a company to help them grow? They're not being sustainable with them. Or with change versus, sorry, distractions. With change versus continue continuing. I can't pronounce that word. Are you changing or are you continuing the same way you are? Like I said before. Um, Moving forward from that to basically, how do they know they're about to make the right decision? Um, the leaders are going to have to be aware of each decision that will affect the team, like the consequences, like the outcome of the decisions that they make. Will it help their team move forward towards their goals and to where they want to be? What are the consequences? And just becoming really aware of the situation. The best thing that they can really do as a leader is to become more aware of the problem and the decision they're about to make. You really can't choose between which one's right and wrong unless it's something very black and white. But if you have more of a complex situation, you have to just become very aware of the situation and have a lot more information that comes with um, the problem. The more you understand about it, the more you can be aware of what will happen, and more information is better. Um, how do they deal with the different choices they are confronted with? I think that kind of just majorly how leaders go with understand like with how they deal with the problems is that they're very transparent when they communicate. This requires, employees to basically, like, they have to be very transparent, make them feel like they're at home, and it will help them speak up because there's been a lot of situations that we've all probably witnessed in our life where people just didn't speak up, and the problem just kind of like really stuck there and nothing really happened with it. It didn't really move forward just because nobody's willing to, like, cooperate or just, really speak up about the problem, how they actually feel. They're holding it back. Um, Also, I think that leaders are very open-minded people, so it really helps them see their underside. They're really big picture thinkers, so they can see where they're coming from culture, and to understanding their background, their history of the person, of where they're coming from their interests. That's what I at least feel like effective leaders do. I've had very, black and white leaders, like ones that are like my way or the highway. It's very like two ways, black or white. And moving forward, When you think about your own leader style, like for myself, what challenges that I face, um, to make this really short and simple, I think honestly decision making is probably my biggest challenge because I'm always really OCD about making everything perfect, and that can be good and bad for you. So, just me really um, making the right choices for my team. I'm very insecure about it. I always feel like, okay, this is going to be the best choice that I can make, and it sounds really good to me and really good in my head, and I just it feels like it can turn around on me really fast. I'm very insecure about it. I feel like that's probably more a way better to put it, is that I'm more insecure about the way I uh, um, about the decisions that I make. What are some obstacles that I believe that stand in the way of most leaders? And this one I feel like is very practical. You have your typical workforce problems of employees getting upset, having conflict, like such as sexual harassment or even diversity conflict, people that aren't really open-minded, that understand how different cultures work. Um, the assignments not getting done on time, like when they're required, and not having motivated employees. Those are just kind of like some things just to cover the top layer of some major problems I could think off of the top of my head. Um, Also, I feel like they're more as themselves, is that they're some leaders who are probably very like they take things, they don't separate the like their personal situations from their professional. They kind of take things more personally, and I think I'll talk about that more later. But yeah, they take problems more personally, I feel, and that they also don't maintain a positive attitude in the workforce. I've had very negative, leaders, bosses, is what you would say as a bad leader, as a boss. Um, and they're kind of, I don't know, very egoistic. Like they're very self about themselves. Like, oh, I'm the boss, I'm the leader, I can do whatever I want. With that being said, with the last question that it wants us to talk about or to discuss is, what are tools that you believe the process that, or what tools do you believe you possess to overcome these obstacles? Kind of some of the things that I came up with is that to overcome obstacles leaders face, to just overall keep your composure as a leader. Also with just kind of keeping emotional control, keeping, your personal emotions separate from the professional world, from your environment. So, leave your attitude at the door. When, because employees, they look up to you, they're your followers. They really monitor what you do in a kind of they unconsciously notice what you do, kind of like a child does to their parent. So if they see you acting out on your emotions, they're gonna think that you're, a horrible person. Not really horrible, but you get what I'm saying. Um, so having emotional control, and also, like I said before, keeping a positive attitude is one of the really key ingredients, along with understanding where your employees are coming from. Being open-minded. I've said this before, but when you face conflict, because if you have all that together with when you face conflict with your employees, because their problems are your problems. So if you kind of just control yourself as a person and just be understanding and very positive and inspiring, just with your attitude alone, you can have such a huge impact on what happens in the workforce, especially when it comes to facing obstacles, along with decision making. Decision making, if you come with you have to make a really hard decision. They always say sleep on it. So if you sleep on your decision, like you get a refresh of your body. You get to come back to it the next day. It kind of lowers your stress. It lightens it. So just your emotional intelligence and awareness is just one of the biggest things leaders can take in. So I can go on talking and talking. So I really hope that answers the questions, and I hope you enjoy. So thank you, and be wonderful leaders.